G'day folks, and welcome to episode 1 of Nomifactory. So some of you might be aware, I do also play GregTech New Horizons on this channel. Basically, I wanted to do a Nomi CEu run, simply because it's a bit of a different pace, very different play style, and it's just a nice context switch from GregTech New Horizons, which is definitely a pack you have to take at your own pace. Otherwise, you will burn out. You know, you don't want to try and rush it or anything. You know, so basically, I do intend to play both packs. I am hoping that I will make a minimum of one video per week for each pack. But realistically, in the beginning, there will be more Nomifactory videos. Because I'm starting from the beginning, whereas my first GTNH video was in EV. But the other thing is, Nomi's progression is, especially in the early game, is faster paced and a bit easier to sort of package up into contain and package up into a video. GTNH is a very good pack, but it can be a bit hard to make videos on sometimes. The consistency of Nomi videos will probably drop off in the later game, where it becomes more about infrastructure scaling, but we'll see. I've not really seen the end of a Nomi CEu playthrough. All the playthroughs I've watched have been the original Nomifactory CE, which is quite different from this. So you may notice that I've got stuff. So funnily, I recorded an episode today, but for the first 24 minutes, I didn't realize that my microphone was muted. So unfortunately, this isn't going to be a full episode because I don't really want to put that video up where it's 24 minutes of basically just Minecraft sound and no talking. So what we'll do is we'll do a bit of an introduction, go through how far I've gotten, and then we'll wrap up there, and I'll do a proper episode tomorrow. So I'm doing a normal mode run. The only config change I've made in terms of gameplay is to enable applied energistics channels. They are disabled by default in this pack, but I do like the design challenge of using channels. And I also want to maintain good design habits for applied energistics, since I am playing GTNH, which A, requires much bigger networks, and B, does have channels enabled. So, yeah. Otherwise, all the other config changes are basically cosmetic, things like shaders, resource packs, and so on. I'm using the same shader pack as what I use for my GTNH world, so there should be a decent degree of visual consistency. It does look a bit different. There are a couple of visual glitches, which I'm blaming on Optifine, because the shader pack looks perfectly fine in Angelica, which is a backport of Iris that GTNH uses. So in terms of mod changes, aside from adding dynamic surroundings to sort of add some ambience to the game, I have also added some of the optional mods that are mentioned on Nomifactory's README, namely the fluid crafting mod for applied energistics, which honestly I think should just be part of the pack, and also the lazy AE2 mod, which basically just adds some quality of life changes to applied energistics, such as a multi-block molecular assembler that holds patterns and directly instead of having to use interfaces, etc. It is all integrated into Nomifactory's progression, though. The devs do provide the devs have included compatibility scripts in the pack for these mods, so they are built into progression and they are intended to be used as optional mods if the player wishes to add them. And they are basically gated to EV, as far as I'm aware. I believe fluid autocrafting is gated to HV and fluid storage is gated to EV, and I believe most of lazy AE2 is gated to EV minimum. I'm playing 1.73, which is the current version as of this video. I have played Nomifactory before, and I really did enjoy it. I played it last year on hard mode, and I made it up to LUV. But then I lost that world, so I took a few month break, and when I came back to GTNH. I may do a hard mode run in the future, but for now, I just want to do normal mode, because if I want hard mode, I'll play GTNH, to be honest. The only other big change is that I'm using the clean room loader instead of Forge, which allows me to run the game under Java 23. The performance difference between Java 8 and modern Java is quite noticeable. I'm maintaining 120 FPS with shaders on. I can guarantee that I wouldn't be maintaining 120 FPS with shaders on stably in this pack. And also, when the world gets bigger and busier towards the end game, the performance improvements in modern Java will also help with that. So I'm currently in the Void world, but we don't intend to stay here. What I really want to do, so I'm using a Void in GTNH, and I prefer not to do another Void. So instead of using the default Lost Cities world generation type, I set the world generation type to the default vanilla world gen. Primarily because I wanted something like this. Nice ocean area, and the plan is we're gonna build a base out there where that waypoint is. So I'll tell you what, if I just jump into creative, we're gonna build a base out here, where this waypoint is, and hopefully it should look pretty good. And the aim is to build above the water, below the water, and also below ground. I don't know how fun it's going to be to build below ground with all that gravel, because it's probably multiple layers of gravel, but we'll see. But basically, I don't want to do another void, and Nomifactory gives you a lot of tools to build nice bases, such as effortless building. So I want to take advantage of those. Building nice things in Minecraft 1.710 is harder than it is in 1.12. So, but we will be using the Void World up to HV. So the plan is that I will lawn base it in HV, in the Void World up to HV with a very boring flat platform. And then once we get access to things like applied energistics, and we have some basic auto crafting, and we have resources automated with deep mob learning, we will then move into the overworld and use that as our sort of final base and run with that to end game. So, like I said, I intend to make videos. I intend to record my journey, but I do play off camera as well. I won't be making leaps and bounds of progression off camera, especially because I'm balancing 2 packs, and obviously life can always get in the way, which is actually why this episode has taken so many attempts to record. I had 1 successful attempt today, with the exception of the fact that I was muted for the majority of the video. But I did actually attempt to record yesterday as well, but unfortunately just got distracted with real life things, so I didn't get as far as I wanted, and I didn't really want to sort of upload a half complete episode. So if we go back to the Void, we'll just see where we are. I guess one other thing I should note is if you do default world gen, you can still get to the Lost Cities. What Nomifactory has is it tells you in a quest. Which one is it? That one. It tells you in a quest you can create a portal using a bed and some skulls and 2 blocks of diamond underneath the bed. And that will basically get you, that will allow you to get to the Lost Cities. So you can still go and get all that loot and whatnot that's in the Lost Cities, but have vanilla world gen. I will confess that I did when I first generated the world, I did just cheat in the bed and the diamond blocks in order to create the portal, so then I could use the set home command to create a home in the Lost City to allow me to teleport. But then I did get rid of the bed and the diamond blocks afterwards. So we also have a home in the Void. So at the end of the episode that I was muted for, so I guess just as a FYI, I did mention this in my first GTNH video. These are unedited videos, and I just record them as I go. So I don't do voiceovers, like some creators do. This is really just to bring people along and basically just be a bit of a video diary for me as well. You know, these are very big packs. You know, Nomifactory is probably hundreds of hours to complete. GTNH is thousands of hours. if I decide to go to Stargate. So these are rough videos. They're not edited, they're not polished in any way, because it's not really about creating the video for me. It's just about sort of bringing people along. And obviously, that's not a jab at any content creators who do, who do sort of edit and polish their videos. I find a lot of their videos quite nice. But I think my videos are probably more in the vein of, say, CarX82 and his GTNH series, where it's basically just recording of him sort of playing, basically. So that is just a bit of an FYI, and that's basically why I can't really recover that episode, because there's no voiceover audio. I was literally just talking to thin air for 24 minutes, unfortunately. So in terms of where I am now, then, where I finished that fated episode, I got a basic setup in the void. I've got some lovely animals that I cull every now and again. I use the butchery knife since that gets looting 3, so I definitely recommend you get this. I've never gotten this in any of my Nomi playthroughs, but I read a post on Reddit that's like, yeah, you should totally go get that, especially for killing cows, because it gets you high chances at leather. It's also good to get the last hit on Enderman as well, to give you a high chance of ender pearls. But in Nomifactory normal mode, there becomes a point where ender pearls just become meh anyway, because you'll get them renewably through deep mob learning. In hard mode, it's a bit of a different story, because I believe the only way to get them renewably is via ender lilies, which you can't get until you get to the end. So yeah, but I've got my 4 primitive blast furnaces. These will be replaced very shortly, probably between episodes, with an LV alloy smelter. But these are basically what I use to get to LV. I've also just got a row of diamond furnaces. At the moment, I'm fueling these manually, but in the next episode, we're going to look at renewable energy with SNAD and a sugarcane farm. And obviously, I can use that sugarcane to fuel these as well. So that'll be really nice to be able to just do batch smelting. I also have got the crafting stations. I really like these things. They're quite neat. So they have access to the chest in the middle, and they make the micro crafting so much more tolerable. Crafting these motors and so on, because basically this is, hand crafting is basically going to be the way that stuff is going to get crafted up until I get applied energistics auto crafting, which is gated behind HV circuits. So you can get the ME interfaces in MV, but to get the crafting patterns, you need HV circuits. So they're not gated behind HV. But they're gated behind the MV circuit assembler, I believe. No, you can get them in the you can get them in the LV circuit assembler, because you need to craft a HV circuit to create the HV circuit assembler. But you need HV circuits basically. So the patterns aren't exactly cheap. I believe one HV circuit gives you 8 patterns, if I recall. But on the whole, and they're gated behind plastic as well. So, but on the whole, they're not too bad. They are cheap. The recipe in GTNH is actually cheaper, I believe, but you only get 1 pattern for the recipe, and it does require charged Certus quartz in GTNH, which is a bit more annoying to get in that pack. So I've also just got a bunch of storage crates with all the random stuff in it. It is somewhat organized, so there's ores in there, random crap in there, woody stuff in there. This will be for dusts. Redstone is a dust. This one I just shoved sand in. I went and mined all this sand manually to make SNAD. So each SNAD is 160 blocks of sand, and I didn't realize that I will be automating sand in LV. So before I actually get the SNAD. So I wasted time mining all of that, but whatever. This is all sort of random tech stuff, so conduit binders, gears, energy converter, dynamos, etc. that'll be full of ingots. But at the moment, because the ingots are sort of used in crafting, they're actually all over there. But once I get the other machines, like once I get the other machines that allow me to craft stuff more efficiently, then the ingots will probably work their way back in here because they won't really be used directly in any recipes over there. And then the rest of them are empty. So in the first episode, I was really excited that I'd crafted my first dynamo. But I've actually opted to not use dynamos yet for power because I will have to fuel them manually, and I just can't be bothered. So for now, I'm actually using GregTech high-pressure solar boilers with the infinite water sources to basically power a steam turbine. And this will be our LV setup for a little bit until we get the SNAD. So for those, so SNAD is basically 162 blocks of sand and a pulsating crystal, which you need the LV autoclave for. Oh, and an LV extractor actually to get the molten pulsating crystal. The molten pulsating iron. So the way SNAD works is it will instantly grow, or it will instantly progress whatever's on top of it, whether it be sugarcane or a cactus. It will progress it by one growth stage every time it gets or it will rapidly grow it every time it gets a block update. So basically, you can use it to set up a sugarcane farm to feed your dynamos. I'm not going to go into it too much because we'll do that in the next episode. But this is basically a temporary setup just to get us to the point where we have the autoclave and we have the extractor and we can make the SNAD and the other bits that it needs, like the pistons and so on. So the focus for the next episode will be, and this is going to be a fairly short video, or shorter than the others anyway. The focus for next episode will be to get the sugarcane farm up so we have renewable power and so we can keep these furnaces fueled. Also, I want to get the steam grinder. So this multi-block is as efficient as 5 LV macerators, and it's cheapish. It's basically just a load of bronze and a diamond. Potent isn't particularly hard to make, I don't believe. Potent isn't actually that hard to make. We've got all of this. So, and then the bronze machine casings, they need bricks, which is just clay, so that's fine. So the steam oven's not particularly difficult to craft, and we will power it with these two boilers. Once they become obsolete and replaced with dynamos, we'll use these just for the steam oven, pretty much. And the reason I want to get ore doubling sort of up and running is because, the veins are very big, so Nomi even sort of have a quest around ore doubling there. Yeah, saying you shouldn't feel any pressure to do it, because the veins are enormous. The veins are massive, and then once you get the GregTech drill, even the LV drill, the LV drill does a 5x5x5 cube of blocks when it's mining. So, but I also just don't want to go mining. So you can buy ores with Nomi coins that you get from quests, and you can actually get Nomi coins renewably via the bounty board, which I'll go into in a sec. But basically, I want to get the most bang for my buck when I buy coins. And if I do go mining, I want to get the most bang for my buck with the haul that I bring back. I'll only be doubling smeltable ores for the moment, so basically ores that I can crush and then just shove straight into the smelter. I'm not going to do ore washing yet. So if you look at, say, I don't know, just any ore. If we look at that, it has a very nice ore washing chart, and you can send it through an ore washer with water and get grossular dust, or you can send it with sodium persulfate and get a shot at gallium, a very good shot at gallium actually. You can send it through the thermal centrifuge. You can send the purified ore through the thermal centrifuge to get rutile dust. But I'm not going to do any. There's no pressure to do that anytime soon. I did ore washing as early as MV, I believe, in GTNH. Or it might have been HV, I can't remember. But I won't be doing it. I won't be rushing to do it early in this pack. Just because of how big the veins are, to be honest. Uh, so we'll the only thing I might do is I might potentially look at doing it for gallium, maybe because the chance for sphalerite or to give you gallium is relatively low. So you can get it from the thermal centrifuge. You can get it from the thermal centrifuge at a 33% chance, but in terms of getting it from sphalerite dust, it's only like a 5% chance plus 2.5% per tier. So in an MV electrolyzer, that'd be 7.5%, which, that's not great. That's not great. Even if we have a load of sphalerite ore, that's not great. So I will probably, maybe when we get to MV, when we have to start looking at circuit wafers, I will look at getting. I will look at probably making a thermal centrifuge. The thermal centrifuges in this work differently to GTNH. They don't need multiple amps. An MV centrifuge just uses 120 EU per tick. It doesn't use multiple amps, whereas I believe the ones in GT5U or in GTNH, they use, I believe it's 3 amps of whatever tier they're at. So a HV one uses, I think they use 3 amps of whatever tier they are, or it might be 1.5 amps or something like that. I can't quite remember. But that's not the case in here, and I'm fairly sure most thermal centrifuge recipes are LV as well, in terms of the ore processing ones anyway. I'm fairly sure most of the ore processing thermal centrifuge recipes are LV. So anyway, and I crafted up the bounty board as well. So this is quite good for getting Nomi coins. You basically just craft whatever it wants you to craft, and it will give you Nomi coins in return. And the nice thing about this is once you get to sort of basic auto crafting, you can craft the widgets and stuff quite easily. And it's not really much of a problem, because even as you sort of progress later on, you may just want to buy stuff on the spot. There may be an ore that's proving particularly annoying to find, and you just need a little bit of it, or you don't need stacks and stacks of it, sort of thing. So there's always there's that route to sort of get you like gallium with coins. No, that'd be too easy. So basically there's this way to get Nomi coins in addition to completing quests. So anyway, I'm going to call that a wrap. I'm sure this has probably been a bit of a disappointing episode. I would have loved to, obviously I did do a full episode where I actually played through all this, but I'm not going to upload something that has like literally almost no audio. I don't think that would be enjoyable for people to watch. So I will remember to unmute my mic for the next episode, and in between episodes, I'm just going to do a load of batch crafting and mining and get the other sort of basic LV machines like the lathe and the alloy smelter and whatnot. And then tomorrow we will look at renewable power and ore doubling. Well, maybe not tomorrow, but the next episode, which will probably be tomorrow. But in the meantime, if you've made it this far, thank you very much for watching, and I hope you have a lovely day.